Kerrie from KezziieKreates and welcome back. Today we are going to be continuing work on my virus shawl. This has been an ongoing project for probably not actually too long, thinking about it. I haven't got my whip book with me so I can't check, but I brought the yarn for this when we were in France at the start of June and it's now the end of July. And I wouldn't have started it until we got back from France, so I'm going to say it's just over a month old, this project. But it's one that I want to get done and dusted. So yeah, that's what this vlog's going to be about. The yarn that I used, or am using I should say, is I think it's actually discontinued, which really sucks because it is stunning. You can still get the yarn, just not in this colorway or size. So I am using Concept by Katia in this cotton cashmere degrade. I'm gonna say this is pronounced. And it's just stunning. Just look at them colors. Absolutely beautiful. And it's really, really soft, and I wanted a really beautiful project to work this on. It's colour 105 apparently. And like I said, I think this is discontinued because I can't find it anywhere now. It's 90% cotton, 10% cashmere, and each one of these has 620 meters or 678 yards, which is a lot of yarn. Apparently, you need a 2 to 2.5 mil hook for this, which I don't agree with, if I'm honest. I would say this is a light DK. And I'm using my Fells 3.75 hook for this. And if I'm honest, it could probably actually be sized up. I could probably get away with maybe even a 4.5, maybe even a 5 for a shawl. So the plan is that I'm going to use, I've got 2 of these, that's all I brought, that's all the shop had. I'll be using both of these to make a very large virus shawl. I've already done the first skein completely and I've attached the second. Looking at this just now while I was chatting to you, it actually says it only needs 1 skein of this yarn to make a triangle, so I'm assuming that's a shawl. Do you reckon this is a shawl? Which is an opinion I was actually going to ask, because earlier on I was working on this during my lunch break and it's getting quite big already, and it's not big enough. It's definitely not big enough. It does touch my butt already, and if I put my arms out either side I can hold it with my arms straight out now, both sides. So it is getting quite big. But if I put it on, the bits that go over my shoulders only come down to, they're not long enough. They're not long enough. So I think I'm just going to make it really big. I'm going to move you over to my shelf a second and show you what it currently looks like. And then probably a lot of this video is going to be just time-lapsed or just watching me crochet it, because it's just the virus stitch pattern. You can find the pattern anywhere. I think the version I'm using is from the Snugglery or something on her blog. I'll put a link to it somewhere up here and in the description as well, the pattern I'm using. But you can find YouTube tutorials, you can find them pretty much anywhere, to be honest. So yeah, let me get you set up over on my shelf and I'll show you progress. I've wrapped myself up in the yarn, moving you. Let me give myself a bigger tail. There we go. So, I don't think you're going to be ready for how beautiful this is. This is how it's currently looking. So yeah, as you can see, my arms are completely stretched out. And if I put it over my shoulders, it does actually reach my butt. And this is unblocked. So it is almost the right size. But if I'm wearing it like this, is how I'd probably wear it. I don't feel like these bits are long enough to wrap over or tie yet. I mean, it'll just about tie probably, but this is not the vibe. It's definitely getting there. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead with plan A and continue until the second skein is used, and it'll just be large. Also, if I put it on this way, these aren't also as long. This is a bit tight. As long as I'd like. This actually looks quite nice in this t-shirt. I've still got ends to weave in as well. So these bits aren't, I'd want these like the same length as this, really, just a little bit longer. So we may not use the whole one, but each round's getting longer anyway. Yeah, this is how it's currently looking. So, how many rounds is this actually? Let me just count really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm on the 14th. Do you reckon this is going to go to 20? It'd be nice if it's a nice even number, wouldn't it? Yeah, you can see where I've joined my yarn. I've literally only just joined it in the last round. Really annoyingly, the second skein that I had, it had like maybe a metre, and then it had a factory knot in it straight away. But I had no factory knots in the first skein, which is random. But I don't trust them. I snipped it out, retied it. So yeah, let's just get on with crocheting and finishing this shawl off. I just realised, before we get into that, I actually forgot to tell you how much this even cost me. So these were labelled at €25, as you can see there. Which, to be honest, I feel like probably was slightly overpriced. That was each, and I brought 2, but I loved the yarn, and I was like, I'm on holiday, I'm just gonna treat myself. So I picked up the 2 that they had and took it to the till. And I don't know if this green sticker at the top meant that it was on sale or if it was discounted or what, but the lady at the desk only actually charged me €10 for both of them. So yeah, I'm gonna say it's on sale. I was happy to pay. I was happy to pay €50 for these. So when it came out at 10, it was great. Yeah, that was the only update. I've got a new Passionate Kelsey video to watch. She actually posted 20 hours ago, so I'm actually late. She is making amigurumi apparently today. So I'm going to put that on, see how far we can get this afternoon before I have to head off. Catch you later. It's been a few days since we last caught up, and I've done another repeat all the way around. These repeats take so long now, they are very long. And I have just finished the chain row of the next round, and I'm working on, actually I haven't just finished the chain row, I've almost finished the second row of the repeat. It's not actually the second row, I think it's actually like the 9th row I think I'm on. It's the one where you do the 10 double crochets in each of the chain 7 spaces, and I've only actually got that much to go. However, I'm thinking this, because this is pre-blocked, and those extra 2 rows since we last caught up have actually made this quite significantly longer. So if I just put this round, it's still attached, so we'll just I'm always getting into tangle. So this is actually how it currently is, and it's still got a couple of rows still to go for the fight of this round, and it's still got to be blocked. And I think this is still kind of quite wavy and quite tight. I think this is going to block out really well, and where the majority of it is 90% cotton, so it will stretch out as well. So I think this is actually going to be the perfect size if I finish at the end of this row, which means I've actually only got 2 rounds, not even 2 rounds, 2 rows left of this last repeat to go, and then it's done. So it's already quite long at the back as well. Like if I sit down, I would be sitting on this now. And it drapes nicely, and yeah, I haven't blocked it, so it will block out as well. So I'm thinking I'm actually going to finish this way earlier than I thought I was going to. So I don't want to make it too big. So I've still got all of this yarn left. Like it's got a missing, it's definitely a gap, but I won't need all of this. So I think what I'm going to ambitiously attempt to do with the remainder of this yarn, well, I'm going to finish this first, obviously, weave in the ends, it's not many, and then I'm going to get it blocking. Once it's blocked, if it looks too small, slightly too small, then I might do another round, so I'll reattach the yarn then. If, however, which is my suspicion, I think it's going to be fine without needing to increase it anymore. If that is the case, I'm going to ambitiously attempt to use this and knit the Sophie scarf, but the larger version of it, so it'll wrap twice. I think it would look really good in this yarn. I say ambitiously attempt to knit it because I am not a great knitter. I've barely started. I do have a beautiful knitting needle set. Excuse me while I just find this. I actually treated myself to this set. I think it's on the basis of an exam, about 6 months ago maybe. But it's got loads of different needle sizes. I'm currently using these ones for my step-by-step. But I've got loads of different needle sizes. These are the Knit Pro, I think they're the Novas. I want to say they're the Novas, and I brought some additional cables as well. So I've got plenty of different needle sizes. And as it's a scarf, gauge doesn't matter. But technically I think it probably should matter, but I'm not going to be worrying about it anyway. So I think what I'm going to do is attempt the Sophie scarf with the remainder of this yarn, which will be in the next video, because I think that could take a video in itself to actually do. Yeah, that's all my updates for now. I'm going to finish these last, well, 2.5 rounds, and then I'll meet you back just before we block it. See you then. Just on the last row of this now, the one where you do the double crochet and then the chain space all the way around, and I'm just thinking about blocking. So normally with a cotton yarn I would wet block it and then lay it flat. It's only got 10% cashmere in it, so I'm calling it a wet block would be the best option. However, I don't have blocking mats. I've only got a blocking board, which is only like this big or something. So there's no chance I'm going to get this entire thing on a blocking board. I also don't have the floor space, in my flat to lay out the piece on a towel. So I'm just wondering what way the best way is to block this. I mean, it's really nice and warm outside and it's not even 3 o'clock yet. So we've got plenty of daylight hours left. So I'm wondering if it's going to be safe to wet block it and then hang it on the line. I know it will stretch the cotton, however at the moment these stitches are actually quite tight, and it is rippling very slightly around some of this places where I've single crocheted, so it does need to be pulled out like a reasonable amount anyway, but I don't want it to like ruin it. I'm wondering if maybe what I do is don't soak it completely and then I maybe spritz it with water in a bottle with just a little bit of detergent on it, or fabric softener, sorry, on it, and then hang it up to dry so it's not completely soaked, so it won't stretch out as much. I'm wondering if that's my best option. I might try that first before wet blocking it, because if that does work that'd be amazing. Also with the blowing outside in the fresh air, it'll also make it smell really nice as well. I also didn't think I was actually going to get this done as quickly as I did. It's only been about 2 or 3 days I've actually actively been working on this again. So I just had it in my mind I was just going to make it 2 full skeins, but I honestly think that's going to make it far, far, far too big for what I want it for. So yeah, I'm gonna try. Yeah, I think spritzing it is probably the best option to start off with. I think I've got a spritz bottle somewhere. I think it's under my sink. I have to dig that out. So I think I'm gonna hang it on the washing line outside and then spritz it. I think will be my best option, and then just leave it for a couple of hours to dry and blow slightly in the wind, and then hopefully it'll be done, but we'll see. Yes, once I finish this row, all I'm going to be doing is weaving in all of my ends apart from the end where I cut my yarn off, in case it turns out it's not quite big enough and I do want to add an extra row or 2 in. But the starting rows and where I haven't got many yarn tails at all actually. I've only got the one from the start, which is right in the middle centre, and then the only other yarn tails I've got are where I connected the yarn, which I don't technically even need to weave in, but I will weave them in. So I tied it in with a magic knot in the middle, so I just technically don't need to, but I always weave in the tails just to be extra safe, extra secure that they're not going to come out. So I think I'm only going to have, yeah, the one tail then to weave in after it's blocked, if I don't need to rejoin the yarn, or I can rejoin it if needed. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish this row and I'll catch up with you when it's on the line, I guess. It's done. The last round is done. I've woven in the end that was up here and the 2 further down at the bottom where I rejoined my yarn. I say 2, I actually had 4 because there was a factory knot which I cut out and then rejoined, so there's 4 ends down here and then 1 at the top, and then I've just left a tail where I finished just in case I need to reattach. But this is what it's looking like pre-blocked. It's really pretty. I honestly don't know if this is even going to come up on camera, but it's kind of wavy at the bottom. Can you see that? It's going to be really hard to hold. Like, it's just slightly kinky here, which is what I want to block out. Yeah, I've just filled up my little spritzy bottle. I did manage to find it. It's cloudy because I put a tiny bit of fabric softener in it just to make it smell nice. And this is, it's not hot, but it's hot water out of the tap, so it's warm, it's warm. So I'm going to set the line up outside, we'll peg it out, spritz it, see what it looks like. It's hot outside. My fringe is sticking to my hair. That's lovely. Anyway, I'll do a try on probably tomorrow once it's actually dry. So I'll do a reveal, a proper reveal at the end of this video. But you know what this means? I'm calling it done. This means we can mark off, if I can find it. We can mark off the virus shawl in our book. It's the wrong way around, obviously. Obviously it's the wrong way around. Also, can somebody tell me why I've decided to label my whip list recipes? I don't know why I did that. So we are page 2 apparently. The virus. Oh, I started this on the 22nd of June apparently. It's now the 30th of July. So it's only about a month it took me to make that, which for me, in whips, is actually pretty damn good. So we got that one all ticked off, the virus shawl. Well, looking at this, I've actually finished my next cardigan and the video is already posted. Do we know when we finished that? Was it maybe, apparently the start date was the 22nd of June. Oh, that was probably about right. It was quite quick to do. Should we, oh my, I'm so sweaty. Should we just say it was like the 8th of July? Sure. Who knows if it actually was, somebody can tell me, but that'll be that. Oh, I've also finished my other Urtica pattern test, which was last week's video. If you haven't seen that yet, so go check that out. I'm just looking at the date. I know when I actually finished that. I finished that on Saturday the 25th. My word, we're cutting off a lot of whips here. Cutting it off, finishing it off. We finished it off. So all I've now got left on page 2 is a flamingo, which will be an upcoming video. My winter forest blanket, which will stay a whip for a little bit longer. My Prince Perry, upcoming video. My mixed granny blanket. I need to think about that. I'm thinking that might be a frog. It's beautiful, but the ends aren't doing it for me. I need to think about that one. That could be an upcoming frog video potentially. My cotton wave scarf, I do need to finish, but I need to order one more skein of yarn to finish that off, and then that one's done. My step-by-step jumper, that does need to be done. And then I've just got my kingfisher bag. So I've only actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 whips, which is quite good. One of which we made frog, so we'll call that 6. And my blanket, my winter forest blanket, will be a winter one, so that's going to stay on there for a little bit longer. So I think we're making very good progress. Thank you so much for watching today. Really appreciate it as always. Let me know what you think of the virus shawl. I love it, and I am fairly certain I'm going to be addicted to making those. I wonder if it'll look different in a different weight yarn. Can we use a thicker yarn for a virus shawl maybe? Like an Aran? I've got a lot of Aran weight yarn that I could maybe use for that. Don't know if the pattern would work quite as well with on it though. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.